Their Sports Network.
Wilson steps up, float to a wide open receiver, catches the 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Greg Dulcich.
Diving catch is made by Hopkins inside the 30 at the 28. It's the 7th catch for Hopkins. I guess we have our answer as to how much of a difference D-Hop makes for the offense.
McCaffrey racing down the sideline. He's got the 30, inside, all the way to the 20-yard line.
Nobody's having more fun than these guys. Join the party and pregame with Front Yard Fantasy on Better Sports Network.
Woo! Welcome in to Pre-Gaming with FYF Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host today, JL, joined by my very good friend, brother, cousin, sister, Joey Wright. How you doing, Joey?
I like the sister part. I'm doing really great. Yesterday, after the Thursday morning show, I made a trip out to SeaWorld to go visit my friend Cookie Monster. And he said he really enjoyed being on the show on Thursday morning, and he hopes to be back soon. Thank you.
We hope to have him back soon. Also joining us is good friend of FYF, Steven Johnson. Steven is the man. If you're not already following, make sure you go follow Steven over on Twitter. He is the man, like I just said. How you doing today, Steven?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm ready to get rolling, talk some football. It's a freedom day for me that I don't have to worry about the crapping the bed until tomorrow night. So I'm very excited to just enjoy some football today.
Freedom. Yes,
Amazing.
We got plenty of football coming up. It is week 7, boys. Week 7. This is the time where fantasy championships are made. This is where you start getting your edge, start winning your leagues. You guys ready to get into some football?
Let's get into some football.
All right, we got some people in the chat here. I say get in the games. Like, yeah, boys, it's Sunday. What up, Tommy? And Coop in here saying Cookie Monster stole the show on Thursday. That is absolutely true, Joey.
He was really happy to be there. So, and we had a good conversation yesterday. So, I threw the picture up on Twitter of him and I. So, check it out.
Love it. We got Albert in the chat. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert.
Morning, Albert.
And Levi in here starting us off with a hot question. Pat Freiermuth or David Njoku? Think about this one, Steven. You going Freiermuth or Njoku this week?
You know, I like Freiermuth with the fact that the passing game Pittsburgh isn't as terrible as it was with Mitchell Trubisky under center. However, David Njoku's getting things turned around after what feels like years of the promise of output. And I'd actually this week.
Going Njoku. What about you, Joe? You agree with him, Njoku or Freiermuth?
I do agree. Njoku's been a star this season. He's looked really well. And I've been pretty on record with saying, like, when a guy's coming back from his first game with an injury, I don't normally like rolling him out there, especially with Pat Freiermuth with the concussion. So I'm going Njoku here because Njoku's a great option. I still like Freiermuth if that's the only tight end you have. But, Levi, you've got 2 options here. So I'm going to go with the safer option in Njoku.
Going Njoku. We got Albert in here, or I already said Albert. We got Dennis in here saying, sup, boys.
Hi, Dennis.
What's up, Dennis? What up? All right, let's get into some of the biggest news stories you got to know before the game start today. All right, J.K. Dobbins placed on the IR. He's having his knee scoped. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks, so they placed him on the IR today. This is disappointing. It's disappointing for J.K. Dobbins managers, but Gus Edwards was I think elevated from the practice squad this week as well. What are you guys doing about this Dobbins situation?
So for me, I just see this Baltimore backfield as like the major committee, because not only do you have like 3 competent running backs there, you also have Lamar Jackson, who technically be like the 5th best running back in the league right now. He has the 5th most rushing yards in the league, period, no matter position. So for me, I'm kind of staying away from this backfield if I can. But if you have to plug somebody in for it, I'm going to throw it to Steven because I do believe he does like somebody in this backfield. So I want to let him talk on that.
Yeah, I mean, the J.K. Dobbins situation as a whole was a roller coaster, I guess, of emotion, because he was one of those guys, you know, earlier on in the season, you have the he's like, okay, coming off the ACL, and then he comes back a couple weeks ago, has the touchdown. You're thinking, okay, J.K. Dobbins time.
Now we're back, baby. Now we're
cooking. Into it. That was the high. That was not great. However, you know, to the point where, you know, Gus Edwards getting activated off that PUP list, and the to ingrain him back into that offense, get him on the goal line, get him moving. And yeah, Lamar Jackson with the rushing, it'll cause some issues as any Russian quarterback does. However, over Kenyon Drake, even though Kenyon Drake did have quite the game last week, that's the Gus Edwards is sitting on the waiver wire and you have a droppable player. The upside is worth especially looking at the fact that chances are this is not going to be just 4 weeks for J.K. Dobbins. Probably the 6th. And if it stiffens up again, like what we just saw with this, I mean, it's not a given that he's going to be back at full health anytime soon with the way that his rehab has gone so far with this injury.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Kenyon Drake, Gus Edwards situation will be something to keep an eye on today, because that'll certainly affect the next few weeks of how your decision making with that Baltimore backfield. I see Better Boss in the chat saying bolts up, looking good. JL, what up, Matt? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wearing my Mike Williams today, hoping it gives me a good game.
That is the cleanest jersey you have. Clean from a status of laundry and is like looking good.
That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. This is my last clean shirt, which is why I'm wearing it today. DJ Duvernay in the chat saying few questions.
Okay.
David Montgomery, Isaiah Pacheco, or Deontay Foreman. Full PPR this week.
Ooh. All right. So maybe we just use this moment for me to go into like my call my shot, because I do really like Isaiah Pacheco this week. He's starting now for Kansas City over CEH. They demoted CEH to running back 2. And Pacheco's averaging 4.8 yards a carry, and he's tied for 7th in yak per attempt with who? Nick Chubb. So I'm not saying that Pacheco is good as Nick Chubb, but if you've watched Pacheco play this year, he is outstanding. And Kansas City spends the most time in the red zone of any NFL team. They have the most scoring red zone attempts this season. And Pacheco, I think, is going to be a huge factor in that. I expect him to get all the goal line carries. I love Pacheco as a top 20 running back this week, and I think he could bust even that.
What about you, Steven? What do you think about this one?
Oh, man. That good sell point there, Joey. The issue, I mean, Deontay Foreman and Carolina offense as a whole, is there anything you can trust with them right now? Like, yeah, Foreman's probably going to get the first clip here, but PJ Walker is not going to strike fear in the hearts of opposing defenses this week or any week in the NFL. And then David Montgomery, and the big thing regarding the Bears backfield, they're kind of using like this extended week to recalibrate and have said several times, Matt Eberflus has said several times, they're going to go with the hot hand. That plays more into Khalil Herbert than does David Montgomery, and it makes him a riskier play with the fact that Khalil Herbert has just looked better this year. I'd go Pacheco. I think that is probably the best play there, which feels really because it's not an easy matchup either going against the Niners. You get Nick Bosa back. It's going to be a tough run of things, but given the other options, I think the more of the upside is there with Pacheco.
Yeah. As far as Foreman goes, playing Tampa Bay, like that run defense is stout. And I don't want to play really any Panthers at all, including Foreman. Even though I do think he is the back to own.
So you both are going Pacheco, right?
Yes.
On that one. All right. Well, I would go David Montgomery. I would maybe zag a little bit while you guys dig in. Coop in here saying, get ready to answer 70 Pacheco start sit questions. Thanks for the heads up. Coop. I'm expecting it now. Second part of this question, I've actually lost it. No, I see it. Okay. Wan'Dale Robinson or George Pickens this week?
I believe it's going to be a George Pickens coming out game tonight on the national stage, and it's going to cause a giant rush to try and people have gotten a little tired of the slow start. So I'm all about Pickens.
All about Pickens. You, Joji, you going Pickens or Wan'Dale Robinson?
They're close enough. I agree with on the Pickens take. I don't not like Wan'Dale. I think last week we did see a little glimmer of hope and possibly this Giants pass offense actually having a piece to depend on. He had a touchdown last week. So we'll see what he has this week. But Pickens, we've seen the volume there. And like Steven said, it's a primetime game. Let's let I tried to say it. Pickett to Pickens show up tonight. Oh man, can we just start the show over?
Yeah, let's just.
I really want to hit that.
Yeah,
take it from the top.
This needs to be perfect, guys. No mistakes. Okay.
Pickett to Pickens.
Pickett to Pickens.
Yeah. Show is ruined. Andrew Cooper. Yep, it's ruined.
Show ruined.
Bye, guys. It's been good.
We're done.
We're done. That's it. We are Front Yard Fantasy. We'll be here next week, maybe, hopefully. I see the rest of these questions in the chat. We're going to keep hitting these, but I want to keep hitting some of these big top news stories. Russell Wilson is partially torn hamstring. He'll be out today. I'm guessing Brett Rippon will be ripping under center today. Are you guys excited for this? How does this affect this Broncos offense for you guys?
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, Ripken, he's had one career NFL start. He was 19 for 31, 242 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. First at the time, and not a very good Jets defense. And Jerry Jeudy was the only receiver from that game who could technically catch passes because either they're inactive or they're not available. They weren't on the team that game. But he did target his tight ends a total of 9 times. So maybe Greg Dulcich is a play today. If you have a desperation tight end, you're on a bye week, you need to play someone in there. But as far as Ripken, I have him ranked as my second lowest quarterback. So I'm not depending on it to show up too much.
What about you, Steven? Are you starting these other skill position players in fantasy this week? Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. What do you think?
So the thing about the Broncos, how much worse can it get? Essentially where I'm at is how much worse can this get? I'm not a slight drop, but nothing to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't trust this guy, and getting him out. So yeah, I'm not, pushing back. If anything, it's, dropping guys like Sutton from high-end wide receiver 2 down to a high-end wide receiver 3, but I'm still starting him. Chances are with the bye week, this is a brutal bye week. Jerry Jeudy, I'm probably only starting anyway, regardless, in a kind of a panic situation, just with the way that he's performed so far this year, and just kind of the back and forth between some days and nothing. That not to the point where it's like this catastrophic end for this week.
Yeah, I had Sutton at wide receiver 18 and I dropped him to 24. So like what Steven's saying, it's right on mark. You just drop him down a little bit. I would start Sutton still over Juju and Rashad Bateman though, for example.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. That's good context to see like where they fit in.
But would sit him for Kirk and actually Jacoby Myers, who I actually sorry, Steven, I do like his matchup this week.
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Elijah Moore wants to be traded, won't be active for Sunday's game against the Broncos. There's smoke, guys. There's some smoke with Elijah Moore. How you thinking about this? Does this help the other options at all, or is this more so just you're dropping Elijah Moore?
I would say it would help the other options if Elijah Moore was getting a bunch of targets, but since Zach Wilson's come under center, it's been a lot of Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis. And honestly, a lot of Corey Davis, more than we were expecting. So I understand Elijah Moore's frustrations, but I don't think it's going to change the offense much from how they're playing.
What about you, Steven?
Yeah, I mean, that's the weirdest thing. Looking at last year with how Elijah Moore did to this year, I mean, it's night and day difference. I mean, I think he was averaging around a 30% target share last year, under center, and now we have this. It's a little weird, to say the least. It seems like this is an opportunity to get Garrett Wilson to that next level after his start with Joe Flacco, but we'll see. I don't know. That has been one of the more confusing situations, given how that report was there before the season started and back into.
I never thought we'd be at a point where we're actually thinking about saying, can we please have Joe Flacco back?
Please.
Those receiver like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson were both getting quality work for us, especially Garrett Wilson when Flacco was throwing them the ball. So, but I wonder if this is a lot of Breece Hall, like just completely taking over there as well. So,
yeah, he's a star. Maybe it's like a first child syndrome type thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
I see Damon here saying, "Morning, Dame.
Good morning, Dame. Thanks for waking up
in.
with us.
Thanks for waking
I know it's
up.
early for you.
Thanks for waking up." Coop said, "JL saves the show and rips it back. We're back. All right." The Brett ripping comment saved the entire show. You guys are welcome.
My mortal
Isaiah Pacheco starting today for the Chiefs. You guys firing him up?
Nah, I don't like him at all. No, I love Pacheco. I went through it just 5 minutes ago. Yeah. I wish I would have scrolled down a little bit. I'm like, oh, I would have held that a little bit.
I need a chalkboard to start a tally here. All the Pacheco questions.
Pacheco.
Yeah. No,
the last big news item is the Broncos get trade calls on Bradley Chubb and Jerry Jeudy. You guys think about that?
I feel like Bradley Chubb has been one of those guys that just never got to where anyone expected him to be. I mean, there was all that talk saying he was the best player in the draft when he was drafted, and now it just seems like he's more often injured and just can't get the job done than not. I don't think it's going to be a huge loss to that team, just based on where they're at and him being a free agent this offseason. I think that makes it a little bit easier if the Broncos kind of realize they just can't turn it around. Maybe something with this Russell Wilson injury becomes a lot more serious than what they're leading on this week, where they're like, well, Russell Wilson just needs. Jerry Jeudy, I can't see them trading him. I think he's going to be a piece that they hold on to at least for another year. But Chubb, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think that I think it'd be unlikely to see a Jerry Jeudy trade, but Chubb could be interesting. Let's hit some of these comments in the chat. We got Dan Snyder asking Dobbs or Brian Robinson, full PPR. What do you guys think?
It was nice of Dan Snyder to pop in here with us this morning.
I know.
He has
dealing with a lot, but
I am going to go with Brian Robinson in this. I don't necessarily like the matchup for him too much, but I like the talent a lot.
What about you, Steven?
I just do not care for Brian Robinson at all. He's one of those guys where thing good. But for whatever reason, Ron Rivera loves him. I'm going to go Dobbs on that one.
You're going Dobbs. I would go Dobbs as well. I'll go Dobbs as well. We got fan first asking full PPR McLaurin or Bateman this week. What do you think, Joey?
I'm gonna go McLaurin with the Jahan Dotson out news being there. I expect him and Samuel just to get all this passing work. And I've been really down on Terry McLaurin a lot this year, and mainly because I just want to keep my job so Matt doesn't let me go. I'm just gonna say McLaurin here.
Taylor Heineke just I know he was serviceable, but you look to the connection that Bateman had with Lamar Jackson at the beginning of the year and the games that they were able to string together. I think getting him back is going to be huge. I do like the matchup with the Browns today as well to get him back on track. I'm going to go the Bateman route.
Okay. I think I'd go Bateman as well. This is pretty close. The matchup for sure is affecting this. Also, the J.K. Dobbins injury. They might have to lean a little bit more on Rashad Bateman
really
this week.
Point.
Yeah, than in previous. I think Terry McLaurin is going to have a great week as well, though. I'm not down on this. Isn't an anti-Terry McLaurin take. Yeah. It's just a little bit more excited for Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, he's had touchdowns and he's played 4 games. He's had touchdowns in half of them, so that's encouraging. And at least 59 yards in 3 out of 4 with touchdowns. So
yeah, and Heineke coming in does add a new element for Terry McLaurin in the sense that we might see something different than we've seen this year, which could be good, could be positive.
Yeah, but the one thing that I'm a little concerned about too is Green Bay is on the verge of damage control chaos and ready to play today to make sure that they don't lose another game, especially after that Jets loss.
Yeah, great point. Better in here asking DFS, would you start Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, or Saquon Barkley?
Oh, Oh my goodness. I mean, do you have to sit one of them?
That is a good question.
Because I cannot imagine if you've got 2 running back spots in a flex that you have anyone that, because Josh Jacobs is outstanding this week. I love him as a play, but I'm not starting over Barkley and King Henry. I'm not going to get that cute. And DFS, I would play Josh Jacobs over them.
Which is, the question is DFS.
Oh,
yes, DFS. Would you start Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, or Saquon Barkley?
Because I did see Josh Jacobs' salary was not that much. I want to run to FanDuel and get those salaries really fast. Can we come back to that? Because I want to give him a good, clear answer on it.
Yeah. Let's circle back to it in about 30 seconds or so.
Yep.
Let's see. We got some more questions in here. Tyler asking Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Jeff Wilson for a full PPR flex. What do you think about this one, Steven?
Man, that's another just messy thing. Pacheco, again, add another to the board.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing is it might require a little bit of waiting out to see if there's anything that comes out about just how ingrained CMC is going into the Niners game plan. Supposedly they have a package of plays for him already because he's some kind of brainy. He understood the playbook. It's only been 3 days. But I mean, if he's in the game on 15 to 20 carries and the majority of those are down in the red zone, I mean, that's going to siphon off anything that Jeff Wilson is going to do. So I would say Pacheco in that group.
Going Pacheco. For me, the Pacheco's matchup against San Francisco makes it a little less enticing than Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson, I still think, is going to be the primary guy in this offense. I think they're going to work Christian McCaffrey in a lot, but I still think Jeff Wilson's going to be the guy that they need to use in the situations where they can't just plug CMC in, coming in fresh essentially this week. So yeah, I'll go Jeff Wilson. Joe, you got those salaries?
Yeah, I do see why he brought this question because it's a really great question. So Saquon Barkley is 9,300. That's really expensive. However, it's Saquon Barkley. King Henry, 9,200, so $100 less. And then Josh Jacobs is 8,600. So in my mind, it's like, okay, I would rather play Barkley than Henry. So $100 is not going to turn me away. But $700 between Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. You can do a lot with $700. It's the best possible matchup you can have for going against a team because Houston's running game is just, their run defense is terrible this year. So I'm actually going to say Josh Jacobs based on salary alone can take that other $700 and maybe throw it in to upgrade to that Tampa Bay defense that should be incredible today.
Yeah, I'm going with you as well, Joey. I'm going to go Josh Jacobs in this. The matchup is so good going against Houston Texans.
The Tekkens,
the Tekkens, Houston Tekkens. Great question. Keep these questions coming. We're going to keep hitting them as we go. Let's get into some of this injury news. Starting off with the Cleveland at Baltimore game, or some of these matchups, not just injury news. Matchups: Cleveland at Baltimore, 1 p.m. today. On the Cleveland side, Jadeveon Clowney is questionable. Denzel Ward is out with concussion. On the Baltimore side, J.K. Dobbins is out. He's been placed on IR. And Mark Andrews, he's questionable. Rashad Bateman's questionable, expected to play. And Justice Hill is doubtful. Probably not too relevant for you, for most fantasy managers.
The deepest of leagues.
Yeah, in the deepest of leagues, the deepest of wells, then yeah, make sure Justice Hill is doubtful. Probably don't start him. With this matchup, how are you guys? Talk to me how you're feeling about this. How is this going to go? What are the fantasy relevant pieces here that you're looking for?
Yeah, for me, it's Lamar Jackson, which is easy to say. But we mentioned with the running game earlier, like it's hard for me to know which running back I want to start. Now, Steven brought up they activated Gus Edwards, and what we saw from Gus Edwards was great the last few years. And I do expect some good stuff from Rashad Bateman today. So as far as Baltimore and Mark Andrews, of course, will be great. So that's kind of what I'm expecting from Baltimore today. It's just a lot of Lamar Jackson.
Whole lot of Lamar. Yeah, I think Coop is agreeing with you. He said Lamar Jackson, easier to say than Pickett to Pickens.
Coop, I'm so glad you're here to roast me this morning because I'm there Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 to roast you. So this is great.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side, though, I do think that Amari Cooper kind of keeps up what he's been the Browns, which I think has exceeded some expectations from the fantasy side of things as well, with the number of touchdowns he's been able to string together. So I think that based on what Baltimore has done against some of the receivers that they've faced this year that have been able to stretch the field, that he's also a solid play on the Browns side. But yeah, I mean, Baltimore, Lamar should be able. I think we'll see some of those games like we saw at the beginning of the season where he was just able to ball out, especially with Clowney and Ward out, and that Cleveland defense a little with the way that they've been performing these last couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you guys. Nothing more to add there. Let's move on to the Atlanta-Cincinnati game. Actually, let's move on to the New York Giants, Jacksonville. Let's do that one. New York Giants side, Kadarius Toney is out, dealing with a hamstring. Kenny Galladay out, dealing with a knee and probably wounded pride. On the Jaguar side, Marvin Jones, questionable. Jamal Agnew, also questionable. Fire up your Christian Kirk, fellas.
I can't trust it.
Okay. All right. I like him. I mean, the Giants defense has been good this year. As far as Marvin Jones himself said he's going to play, will the coaching staff let him? We'll see. So I think the Jacksonville, if Marvin Jones is on the field, their pass attack will be a little bit better today. I just think on the Giants side, it's just going to be an all Barkley game. I mean, Jacksonville, that's their one weakness is the run. You can run on Jacksonville, and the Giants have a pretty good running back that can do that. So I expect them to do that a lot today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I will say this though. I know there's been rumblings in the Twitter's verse talking about the Evan Ingram revenge game. That's not the tight end that you want here in my mind. I think Daniel Bellinger is a very sneaky DFS play this week. I really like him, and he can put up some points for you as a cheaper option at tight end. So he's one that I really like. But yeah, it's going to be Saquon Barkley, Wan'Dale Robinson. I'd love to see him get a little bit more ingrained into that offense as well on the Giants side.
Yeah,
but Christian
absolutely.
Kirk, I mean, he has been one of the more depressing players for me the last couple of weeks too, with the fact that they've just kind of held Lawrence back and said, you're going to be more of a game manager. You're not going to be this gunslinger. And it's harmed anybody. It's been Kirk, with the fact that he's struggling to even get 4 or 5 targets a game, which is absurd.
I do hope this is the game that they just move away from Robinson altogether. I know they're not going to, and I just keep willing this to happen. But
Yeah.
ETN has been so much better the last few weeks. Like, let's just give him like 75% of the carries, please. Let's let this happen. Don't throw the ball to Robinson anymore. Inside the 5, hey, let's try ETN. Let's see what he can do. Because James Robinson just hasn't been there the last 3 weeks to be able to do any of that.
Yeah, it feels like ETN, I mentioned this earlier this week, but it just feels like every single week, it's like, oh, this might be the week. This might be the week that we finally see like he gets uncapped. It just goes off. But he's been tame. It's been very tame. It's been like a solid 10 to 12 fantasy points each week. I'm hoping we get to see that this week against the Giants here. Jacksonville is favored by 3 points in this game. The total is set at 43.5 points. So Vegas isn't expecting a high scoring game. Not necessarily too low scoring either, though. It's a little bit in the middle here. Are you listening to Pre-Gaming with FYF on the Better Sports Network? We are here every Sunday from 11 to 1, talking matchups with you, start, sit questions. And later today on the Better Sports Network, there's a Better Zone with Corey and with Corey. There's a bunch of good programming. We've got Better Zone with Corey, Adam, and Tom. We also got that's going to continue from 5 to 8 with Holden Kushner and Greg Larnard. This is going to be great. And then we'll be back tomorrow also at 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the Front Yard Fantasy morning show. So stay with us. We're going to keep talking matchups here and injuries.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice.
So,
your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't.
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot, and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player's just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it, which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season, and these players just slamming them down. It's like they've become Dilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
Welcome back to Pre-Gaming with FYF. I want to hit some of these actives, inactives. Make sure you get these players in or out of your lineups real quick. On the active side, Dak Prescott, active. Jonathan Taylor, active. Nyheim Hines, Nick Bosa, Deontay Johnson, Tua Tagovailoa, Kenny Pickett, and Freiermuth are all active today. Mm-hmm. You can start them if you need to. Don't be afraid to. On the doubtful side, DeAndre Swift, Baker Mayfield so far. And on the outside, we got J.K. Dobbins out. Elijah Moore out. Russell Wilson out. DJ Shark, DeAndre Swift, Christian Watson, and Randall Cobb are all out. Carson Wentz is on the IR. Shaq Leonard, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay, Julio Jones, Cameron Brate, Darren Waller, and Jahan Dotson. All those guys are out. So if you have any of them in your lineups, make sure you take them out before the game start at 1 p.m. or whenever their game starts so they don't get locked in. Simon in here saying Swift out is a killer.
Yeah.
That one kind of shocked me seeing that last night come through because it seemed like by all accounts they were going to say, all right, DeAndre Swift up and running. It's the end of the road for now for the Jamal Williams show, but looks like we got one more episode in the canon here.
Yeah,
one more episode.
They've been saying he needs one more week for 3 weeks now, and I am actually starting to get a little worried because I thought coming out of the bye he'll be there, and now he's not. Now Jamal Williams has been fantastic. So as far as the Detroit Lions, there's not, it's sad that he's not there, but you have someone that's definitely filling in. For fantasy though, a lot of people drafted Swift at very high So it's a little worrisome.
Definitely a little worrisome. We got some more questions in here in the chat that I want to hit on. Well, first of all, we got Dave in here saying, I hope jail isn't cruising for a bruising. You know I am. Always, baby. And Scamper's in here saying, hi, ladies and lads. I'm in the woods. Well,
Just
hope you're enjoying it.
Woods.
Hope you're enjoying the middle of the woods, my friend. We got a question here from Nixa asking, half PPR, flex spot, Brian Robinson or Isaiah Pacheco? What do you guys think about that one?
It's Pacheco for me.
Pacheco. Add another one to the Pacheco board.
Yeah, and I was the Brian Robinson guy for a very long time, and I still do like Brian Robinson this season. But man, I'm just color me excited for Pacheco and the Chiefs. Like someone's competence actually gonna get some work inside the 5, and that's exciting for me.
Yeah, another one here from 234 asking Pacheco, Kenyon Drake, or Claypool half PPR.
Ooh.
That's interesting. I got to go Pacheco in that situation. Drake is you just got to see. I mean, with Dobbins out, Drake is very enticing this week, but I would wait and see honestly between those two. And then Claypool is another situation that I'm just not super excited about this week. What do you think, Joey?
I wonder if we could get Simon to call Kenyon Drake since they're good friends and ask him how hot his hands are this morning, because the only way I see Kenyon Drake getting a lot of work today is if his hands are hot. If he's the hot hand, that they're going to roll with him. But I just don't trust him to be the hot hand. I said hot hand 4 times.
Hot hand. Right, you see it.
Today's buzzword. I'm intrigued by Claypool and what he's been able to do the last couple of weeks, and it wouldn't shock me if there is a little bit of politics behind his performance, with the fact his name has been getting kicked around on the trade block, and to boost up his value a little bit more. I'm going to go with Claypool because it seems like he's getting things finally figured out. And what is this, year 3 that he's in? So I'm going to go Claypool.
Going Claypool. Hallen here saying Jamal Williams or Cortland Sutton, PPR.
Williams.
Workload. Swift out. Yeah.
Russell Wilson out. So that makes it a little interesting. Yeah, I'm going Jamal Williams as well. Coop said half PPR, Pacheco or Pacheco.
Drake.
That's 2, Steve. That's 2. Better Boss saying all those people I told to draft Swift late first/early second. I'm sorry.
I failed you.
The process was pure, Matt. The process was pure. All right.
The thing about Swift, though, is he could come back next week, be on the field every week going forth, and finish as a top 12 running back. So, there have been some good waiver wire ads out there at running back. Hopefully, if you have Swift, you've made it this far. You're like, maybe 4-2, 3-3, and the Swift news won't kill you as much.
Yeah. Unruly Drip saying, I need help with my flex full PPR, CMC or Godwin. CMC or Chris Godwin. CMC on a new team, San Francisco 49ers, traded earlier this week. Chris Godwin on the same team as he's been on, so no updates there. Which of these 2 guys are you guys starting this week? You confident enough to start CMC?
I'm confident starting CMC. I think they said that he's going to have red zone packages, and that he's got a few things built for him already. However, I love Chris Godwin against the Panthers today, and I'm not moving away from that. If this was a regular week and CMC had been in the offense for a couple of weeks, it's CMC, 9 out of 10 times. But today it's Chris Godwin, just because CMC is still a little new to that offense.
Yeah, and Godwin started to get more ingrained into everything that's been going on. He's been a really great option in PPR. I have no issue firing him up and expecting minimum 15 points out of him today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm on the Godwin side of this as well.
I have Godwin as at wide receiver 8. He's right behind Evans. Like I love them both this week, and it's hard. I think they could easily both finish as top 10 wide receivers.
It's a little rich for my blood, but I like it still. I've Godwin as a wide receiver 2 this week.
Okay,
but I still like the call.
Speaking of that matchup, though, Panthers listing Chuba Hubbard as the starting running back.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. There you go.
Seems like a trap. This seems like a trap.
In every conceivable if you look at just numbers, which you shouldn't always just look at just numbers, Foreman's been better than Chuba the last 2 years.
Right.
This season, he's not even really been on the field that much, and Foreman has had a little bit of play, but even receiving the ball, like a lot of the people were coming at me because I was pretty quick. I didn't go to bed Thursday night like everyone else did. So when the CMC news hit, I was able to get some news out about it and get some, people asking me questions about it. And a lot of people said that Chuba Hubbard, he is the guy for receiving down work. And I looked at it, and Foreman's been a better receiving back too. So I don't know. I don't believe you, Panthers.
I don't believe you, Panthers. I don't believe anything you say.
I mean, here's the thing: is like, why go and get Dante Foreman? You've been giving him more touches with CMC on the. Like he was able to do. You saw what Chuba was able to do without CMC last year. So like things just don't add up in my mind regarding this. But Melvin Gordon started a game last week, and we all saw how that went. And Latavius Murray then essentially the value of Melvin Gordon. So I mean, for all we know, it could just be a nice little thing to drop into the starting lineup, but in reality, we all know what's going to happen.
One thing Chuba did do well last year is he started hot. He had right out the gate, he started really well, and then he really tapered off big time.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is like, okay, we know that he can start hot. Let's let him come out there, start hot. And then when he starts to go downhill, like we saw happen last year, if that does happen, we know we've got Foreman on the back burner, and they're going to mix in. Like, I don't think that Foreman's going to get 75% of the touches this week, even if he was named the starter. They're going to mix in. So,
yeah. No, I'm with you guys. I have Chuba Hubbard in one of my dynasty leagues, and I'm a little like tempted just to tempt some chaos here. Like, there's some chaos into my roster this week. Just see what happens. Joey, I think you're in that league. Actually, it's our dynasty league. One of our dynasty leagues.
So is that this type of news right here? You guys see this come across? Is this the type of player you're going out and putting on the trade block right away?
Chuba?
Yeah. You've got big news on him. His value might not ever be higher unless he has an incredible game today.
I don't know that is an effective, like, what's the purpose of putting a player on the trade block is to alert your league mates that, hey, like, I'm interested in trading this player, right? I don't know that a player like this, Chuba Hubbard, adding him to the trade block now, right after like an injury like this, is the most effective in communicating that, right? Because most people, I think, are going to see that as like hey, I'm trying to sell high, right? Versus like reaching out to someone and just talking and seeing if they have any interest in Chuba.
Imagine there being a player is him being named as the starter on a piece of paper. Which is very possible because it's Chuba Hubbard.
It's very true. Very true. Dame asks in half PPR, Raheem Mostert versus Pittsburgh, David Montgomery versus New England, or Melvin Gordon versus the New York Jets.
I'm all about Mostert there. I think Mostert's the guy to play. And I like that matchup a little bit more. I'm not touching Gordon, especially after last week. I don't care what kind of conversations happen with Nathaniel Hackett. No, it's absolutely not.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert, the Pittsburgh matchups, it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Pittsburgh giving up 20th most. How would I say this? They're giving up I don't know how to say it. They're not so good against the run. They're not so good against the run. They bad against run. Don't do.
Yeah.
So I like the Raheem Mostert call here.
My only concern about Mostert is he did have his knee drained. And we had Brian Drake on Thursday night on office hours with Simon and I, and he mentioned that with Mostert having his knee drained and how that can cause some complications as games go on. Like around the third, fourth quarter, you might see Mostert's work come down a little bit, and that's where you see Chase Edmonds come in a little more. But I would still probably start Mostert here. Just maybe temper your expectations a little bit with him.
Yeah, I would go to Mostert as well. David Montgomery, I'm interested in. Going against New England, the matchup isn't as great, but it's in Chicago really leaning on David Montgomery this week. So I'll be okay starting him or Raheem Mostert this week, but I lean Raheem Mostert if I have to choose, if you're putting a gun to my head.
So we mentioned David Montgomery, and can I take a minute to talk about a trade I made this morning? Okay.
Please.
So this morning I woke up from a wonderful day at SeaWorld yesterday, and there's a trade in my inbox, and it's DJ. I had DJ Moore for David Montgomery. Now I'm loaded at running back. Like I am absolutely loaded at running back.
Nice brag.
4-2. I know. So I'm like, but I can't pass that value. DJ Moore hasn't been much this year. I'm going to accept this trade and I'm going to try to flip him. And I was able to flip him this morning because I'm 4-2. And I do believe in like the second half of the season and having a good playoff run. I flipped him for Keenan Allen this morning. And I feel really good about that, honestly, because I love Keenan Allen. And I feel like once he's right and he's on the field, he's going to be great again. Do you guys hate that trade or do you like that trade? And just the philosophy. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, define stacked. I guess is the other thing.
David Montgomery would have been like my RB5.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, in that case, I think it is worth the risk, especially if you are hurting at what. I do like Keenan Allen. Not this week per se.
No,
I don't think he's going to play this week. They're calling him a game time decision. I don't think he's going to play. I think this is a good week for Gerald Everett to kind of siphon some of that work and he's back on track because I'm sick and tired of him crapping the bed. But that's Mike Williams. No, I that, especially in PPR leagues. I think if you can go and get Keenan Allen on the cheap, or you have the ability to, like you do, Joey, with that insane depth at running back, then I would definitely go and do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good move, Joey. I like that. I like the reasoning behind it too. I think it was smart.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel vindicated now, and I'm gonna have a good day now.
Gonna have a good day.
I messaged the guy that sent me Montgomery, and I was like, he won't be on my team for more than an hour. I was like, then why did you accept it? I'm like,
because I'm a dealer.
Yeah.
Making deals, got to make them happen. You got Tommy saying public service announcement: do not start any Panthers.
Yes,
do not start a single Panther. Yeah, he's right. Do not.
Not even the Panthers DST.
Not even the Panthers DST. House they don't want to win. They are going to play guys whole games to see what they got. Yeah, at this point, I think they're probably throwing the towel in on their season. So yeah, you don't really want to start them. Tommy's asking Drake London or Tyler Boyd full PPR.
Ooh. I go London in that situation. I with both Higgins and Chase active. I mean, Boyd will get you a play here or there, but I do like London in this matchup. I think this is going to be a really high scoring game overall today between the Bengals and the Falcons.
It's London for me as well, although I'm reaching the point where I'm starting to get a little worried about London. The last 3 games, he's only had 9 receptions, 92 yards, and 0 touchdowns. Completely opposite of his first 3 games. Through his first 3 games, he was the rookie breakout. Everybody loved him. It was him and Garrett Wilson. Like, oh my gosh, who's it going to be? And now it's just, and this just might be a bump in the season for him. But he can get back on track today for sure.
It's Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
Is it Chris Olave? Like season long, it might be.
That's who mine. That's who
I don't hate him.
Anyway, I digress.
All right, let's get back into some of these matchups. So keep going through these as we go. Reminder: if you have questions, throw them in the chat. We'll kind of answer them as we go. And you got any start sit questions, roster decisions? Let us know. We're here to help you all the time, every day, no matter what. Let's go on to the Tampa Bay versus Carolina game. Since we've been talking so much about Carolina here, Julio Jones is out. Cameron Brate out. On the Carolina side, Baker Mayfield is ruled out. PJ Walker is going to start today. So adjust accordingly. And Laviska Shenault is questionable. He was a full participant on Friday, but he's dealing with a hamstring injury. The Carolina Panthers are 13-point dogs in this game. 13-point dogs. Are you guys taking the Tampa Bay to cover the spread? You think Carolina, Tampa Bay? Which
no, I'm taking Tampa Bay to cover. I think that's I think we're talking like a games where Tom Brady just does not care and is going to run up the score, and it's going to get ugly very.
Yeah, Steven mentioned that the Green Bay is going to try to get back on track today, but for me, this is the get back on track guy because Brady, while he's looked okay, hasn't looked like Brady, and this is the perfect game against a division rival to get everything he needs between Godwin and Evans. Like, hey, let's get Odd some work since Coop's in the chat. Let's get Kate Odd some work too. Let's get another
So
tight
we
end
can-
that
yeah.
we can talk about daily.
Yeah, so I could hear him talk about it all week. Please. The total in this game is set at 39.5. So Vegas is expecting a pretty low scoring
Yeah.
game. Are there any players in this matchup that you guys are particularly excited about, or that you'd be, maybe interested in throwing either in a DFS lineup or throwing a bet on?
I think Fournette is he still in my lineup, or did I move him out? Yeah, he's still on my DFS lineup. So I like Fournette a lot this week.
I was actually going to go on a sneaky play, and if this game gets out of hand, we might see some extended play out of Rashad White.
Yeah, say it.
I think that might be something that ends up giving him the opportunity to see what he can really do. Again, against a not very good opponent, probably the team that's going to have the first overall pick come next April. So I as a very, very sneaky play, I'll throw him into a couple of DFS lineups just to tinker. But yeah,
from your mouth to Tom Brady's ears, please, because that's just calling the place. But because prior to last week, I made a lot of moves to get Rashad White on my team because I started seeing a shift. Not that Fournette was going to lose his job, but that White was going to start getting a lot more work. And then last week, it just didn't happen. And I got scared. So please let it happen.
That Kansas City game happened, and then everyone was like, okay, this is something different. And then ever since, it's kind of like J.K. Dobbins. You think it's going to start going up, and then it goes down. But I think that this will cause a blip in that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Kay Shaughnessy asking Gus Edwards or Herbert this week. I'm guessing Khalil Herbert. Are you guys starting Gus Edwards or Khalil Herbert this week?
Not starting Edwards until we see at least one game in the queue. And I think to what I mentioned earlier with the Bears and how they've been talking about how they're going to move things forward, they're going to go with the hot hand at the running game, and that's going to be Khalil Herbert more than it is David Montgomery.
Right, you, Joey?
100% agree with everything Steven said.
Now, I will add a wrinkle here. Shaughnessy, it's half PPR, but he said you could also pick up Josh Reynolds or Rex Burkhead. Does that change your guys' decision at all? Your advice here?
Oh, it's Dallas crap. Josh Reynolds has been really good lately. And with no DJ Shark, Swift not there, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be back this week, but man, I'm tempted to say Reynolds.
This is a St. Brown smash game.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is going to be one of those where he's going to get like 10 catches for 135.
But that leaves like 5 for 70 and a sneaky touchdown for Josh Reynolds. And you're happy with that if you get that.
That's true.
No, I really want to say Josh Reynolds, but I think I'll stick with Herbert.
Sticking with Herbert. I'm going to go with Herbert as well this week. And Hal said TB on the money line is less scary. Yeah, the money line for this Tampa Bay Carolina game, Carolina plus 528 is what I'm seeing here on PFF. So a little less scary for you guys. Carolina plus 528 odds.
Is that real?
I'm still taking.
That's what PFF says. I'm gonna check FanDuel Sportsbook right now.
I mean, is that worth throwing a bill at?
Is that worth throwing your money away?
Just
no. It's not.
Yeah, Tampa Bay minus 670, Carolina Panthers plus 490 on FanDuel Sportsbook.
Let me call Matt Kelly. Yeah. He might know the pulse on that. What's going on?
Yeah. TX in here asking Melvin Gordon III, Jeff Wilson. Which one of these two guys you starting today?
That's a very interesting question. Simon was pretty adamant about the squeaky mouse gets the cheese with Melvin Gordon.
The old Scott Fish adage.
Yeah. So I could absolutely see that happening. I don't think Jeff Wilson's going to lose his job completely this week. Next week, I think he will. But this week, I think he'll still have some work. I'm actually going to go Melvin Gordon here.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I am. Yep.
What about you, Steven?
I gotta go with Wilson. I hate both of these. So condolences to having to make this choice. Here's the other thing that I don't think a lot of people are also realizing is just how good this Jets defense has become overall. And I think sooner rather than later, people are going to start taking them seriously. And the other piece of this puzzle, you bring in the fact that the passing game probably, I mean, it wasn't that great to begin with, but it's probably not going to be as, solid as it was. And then Latavius Murray, Mike Boone, for all we know, is going to lead the team in carries today for the Broncos. So I'd rather go with Jeff Wilson, knowing he's going to at least get some work.
Yeah, I'm with you, Steven. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson as well. The matchup here is really enticing against Kansas City. It's a plus matchup for him. The total in this game is set at 49, which seems a little more tame than I would expect. Kansas City's totals have been pretty high, so Vegas is expecting maybe a little bit less of a barn burner on this one. Barn burner is a good one, right? It's high scoring.
High scoring.
I immediately just questioned that it meant the opposite thing, and I was like, "Wait, does barn burner mean that there's no points scored?"
Yeah, it's that Nick Bosa effect. Nick Bosa back in this week as well. Got to keep that in mind.
What's the origin of this phrase? I'm going deep down this hole, guys.
On a special edition of FYF.
Let me hit the old jugal.
What is a barn burner? What does that mean? Is someone who burns barns?
Oh man,
this is wild. I'm gonna not be able to think about anything else all day.
Okay, I have an answer, guys.
Okay,
the word barn burner dates back to the 1800s. It was originally and is still primarily used in the United States. It's a reference to a story about a farmer whose method to get rid of the rats that infested his barn was burning down the barn entirely.
What? How does that correlate to football points?
I don't know.
What?
But this is what Jugal has told me.
I'm somehow more confused.
Yeah. More research is needed. We have the origin story. Now we need the next.
I need to move off this, or else I will talk about it for the next hour. This is blowing my mind right now.
DeAndre Swift.
Let's move on from. Oh, DeAndre Swift's officially out. Not a barn burner. And that's a good segue to move on to this Detroit-Dallas matchup. Detroit-Dallas. Detroit is playing at Dallas. On the Detroit side, DJ Shark is headed to IR. He is not going to be playing. Josh Reynolds is active. He is active today. DeAndre Swift is officially out. So do not start your DeAndre Swift. I just went and moved him out of my lineups this morning. Make sure that you go and check yours. Make sure he's not give you a big old 0 on the week. And then on the Dallas side, Dak Prescott. He's active today, boys. Dak Prescott is back. The Cooper Rush show is over. We are saved. Our Lord and Savior Dak Prescott is back.
Because that's who I pray to.
That's who I pray to. Is old Dak. Vegas has given Dallas 7 points here. The 7-point favorite. Total set at 49.5. You think the Lions are going to be able to make this a game, or is this going to be a blowout, guys?
I'm going to say they are going to be able to make it a game because they have made it a game. When we thought, no, they're not going to make it a game. They're not going to make it a game. This Lions offense has been cooking all season. So I think they make it competitive, but I still think Dallas is going to win this. And welcome back, Dak Prescott. Like, holy cow. So excited to see you on the field. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a huge game today. For me, though, like when I'm looking into this Dallas game, I'm looking at something kind of weird. I want to see what they do with Noah Brown. I want to see if this is just a Cooper Rush guy, like, or is he actually that talented? So I guess we'll find that out today. That's what I want to see from this game.
Yeah. Anything stick out for you, Steven?
I mean, really for this, I think to Joey's point that this is going to be a barn burner. They have kept it close. They
don't do this.
They have kept it close. And I do think that's going to be the same thing here today. hasn't been all that great lately either, and I think a lot of people need to realize that that's the case. I think they've given up the seventh most points to wide receivers over the last couple weeks here, so they're starting to show some wear and tear against opposing passing games. I think getting St. Brown back will be huge for the Lions, but the guy that I think is going to cook today, that being Michael Gallup. I think he's a top 12 wide receiver this week.
Yes,
I think it's all
Smoking
systems go. His, I believe the air yards last week, the 33% share with Cooper Rush. So I've just been waiting for Michael Gallup to be fully healthy with Dak Prescott for the longest. We're going on 2 years now, and it's finally here, and it's in a golden matchup, and it is all systems go from my end to get Michael Gallup up and running. I think he's going to have a hell of a day today.
Love that. Love that call. Finishing strong. This is amazing, Steven. Steven is going to head off. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a ton of fun. We definitely will have you back. I appreciate you. If you're not already following Steven, go follow him. Steven, remind everybody where they can find you.
That's on Twitter at Steven with a PH_Roto.
Steven Roto, such a good follow. You can find him on our channel all the time. You can find him on our shows. Also, as we love us some Steven. We're gonna keep answering your questions, but before we do,
really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, Steven. Before we do, I want to remind you we're giving away more cool prizes on the Better Sports Network. You can win. A authentic Dallas Cowboys Alvin Harper signed jersey or authentic San Francisco's 49ers John Taylor signed jersey. All you got to do is help us determine which NFL franchise is better, Dallas or San Francisco. Show your fandom in a tweet using the hashtag Corey's Cowboys or Henry's 49ers, tag @BetterNetwork on Twitter. We'll select the most passionate fans from both sides and announce the winners on Monday edition of Corey Nando's a Friend at 3 p.m. Eastern on the Better Sports Network. Find that at Better Sports on Twitter, at Better Network on Twitter, not Better Sports, Better Network. Got it. Nailed it. We'll be right back answering all your questions, talking week 7 fantasy football lineups, getting you covered to win this week.
Better Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Better Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up.
Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know again, it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you know, want to know why they're paranoid? They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right,
yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful?
It's interpretation, and that's my
Right.
problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to mine.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
Pre-gaming with Front Yard Fantasy.
You're muted, buddy.
No, I was doing so good.
You're doing great.
So good.
You're doing great.
Oh, I had to fart during the break, so I didn't want to, have a hot mic. That would have been so embarrassing.
I think hot mic farts are okay. I don't think that's anything to hide away from, and you shouldn't run from it either.
Yeah, we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
No.
Yeah, shout out to Steven for joining us. Steven Johnson. That was a ton of fun. We're here for another hour. Make sure you're getting all your fantasy questions answered. Make sure you're set up for week 7. Week 7. If you're just tuning in, we got some actives and inactives. Make sure that these guys are in or out based on your lineup. We're getting new information as we go, minute by minute, leading up to the game time. So make sure you stay tuned or keep an eye on all these players. On the active side, Dak Prescott, he's in. He's back. Cooper Rush, gone. Get him out of there. Jonathan Taylor, back. Load him up. He's in your lineup. Nyheim Hines, he's in. I just picked him up and put him in a lineup where I needed a running back.
Okay.
So Nyheim Hines, he's up. He's playing. Nick Bosa, he's back. His Chargers defense needed him. Deontay Johnson, active. Tua Tagovailoa, active. Kenny Pickett will be active. Pat Freiermuth, active. Mark Andrews, active. Marvin Jones is also active. That's it on the active side. Joey, any of those guys surprising to you?
Being active, I think Nick Bosa getting back this quick is a little surprising, and that does make me a little concerned for Jaco, but not to where I'm not starting him.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the Indianapolis Colts running backs, was it Deion Jackson? Did I say? Please don't tell me I messed his name
Deontay
up.
Johnson. Oh, Deion Jackson.
Deion Jackson. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he was great in service when Taylor was out. I think he's safe to drop now. If you've got him on your teams, he did what you needed to do for him. Maybe hold on to him this week just to make sure Taylor doesn't get re-injured, and then you're good to go ahead and drop him.
Yeah.
Other than that, none of these names really surprised me being active today. I was glad. I'm happy to see a lot of them back.
Yes, absolutely. And on the inactive side, J.K. Dobbins is out. Elijah Moore won't be playing this week. He's sitting out. Russell Wilson dealing with a hamstring injury. He's out. DJ Shark's on the IR. DeAndre Swift, unfortunately, will not be playing this week. So Jamal Williams season, light him up. Light him up.
Top 20 running back.
Top 20. Baker Mayfield over in Carolina Panthers, not playing. He's out this week. Christian Watson, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, is not playing as well. Randall Cobb, older wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, also out. Carson Wentz, Shaq Leonard, and Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay are all out this week, along with Cameron Brate, Darren Waller, Jahan Dotson, Jamal Agnew, Kyle Phillips, De'Ami Brown, Logan Thomas, Jonathan Williams, and Jahan Dotson. All of those guys are out this week. So if you have them in your lineups, make sure you take them out. Do not start them. Do not start them. We got some questions in here.
Ooh,
Joey,
let's answer some questions.
I love questions. From Ben.
Hi, Ben.
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 How you doing, Ben?
Ben.
Glad you're here. Glad you're here. What do you think of Jimmy G rest of season with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel as checkdowns now? So how does Jimmy G's situation be affected with this new CMC addition on this team, Joey?
Well, so I'll look at it as where I have him this week. I have him as a top 12 quarterback. Now there's a lot of buys going on right now. I think he's going to be one of those quarterbacks you can really depend on in a bye week. And it's going to be kind of matchup determinant with him. Now, he's playing Kansas City today. I love that matchup. I think Brandon Ayuk could be incredible today. Deebo Samuel's going to get work. And then as Christian McCaffrey gets rolled into this offense, it's only going to get better for Jimmy G. I do worry for Deebo Samuel's upside. I know your question was about Jimmy G, but that made me think about Deebo Samuel with, last year his rushing work got him the numbers he had and got him his place where he was at. With CMC there, I don't see Deebo getting any of that running work.
That's a really good point, Joey, that I hadn't really thought much about, like that factor of them using Debo in that way. You're right. It is probably unlikely to do. I don't know. Maybe we still see some like jet sweeps and stuff like that just to switch it up, throw off the defense because they can use Debo that way. But you're right. I think they won't have to use him as frequently. So that's a very good point.
I would say don't overreact to what you see today in this Kansas City game, because this is only, honestly, CMC just got in town Friday. So how much are we going to see? It's going to be so much different in a couple of weeks. So give it a couple of weeks before you make any rash decisions.
Yeah, I'm starting Christian McCaffrey in my lineups this week.
Absolutely.
If he's playing, so you really you got to start him. He's a running back in a new system, which means it's a little less difficult to get him worked in from the start. We see this a lot with trades for running backs. Teams will try and get them worked in if they're suited up for that first week. They'll try and get them worked in. They'll try and get them some red zone touches, things like that, just to get them started and going and comfortable in that offense. And so I do expect to see CMC today, and I think it will affect it. And to the question about, how does this affect Jimmy G rest of the season? This is really positive for him. This is great to have another like a top skill position player added to your offense, which Jimmy G was already doing pretty well. This is huge. This is a big boost for Jimmy G, and I think for fantasy, his value's gone way up with this trade. You agree with that, Joey?
Absolutely. I mean, he has one of the, if you want to be funny about it, one of the best check down running backs in NFL history.
Yeah.
I mean, CMC is incredible. And anytime you add CMC to your offense, it's going to open up everything else. So it's definitely positive for Jimmy G.
Absolutely. Forsetti in here. So flex one, Bateman, Romeo Dobbs, Isaiah Pacheco, Terry McLaurin, or George Pickens in a non-PPR standard league. Non-PPR standard league.
Give me those names one more time. I was set on Bateman, and then you switched up the format.
Rashad Bateman, Romeo Dobbs, Isaiah Pacheco, Terry McLaurin, or George Pickens.
Man, I'm going to say Pacheco. Non-PPR.
Yeah. Non-PPR part changes it a bit.
If it had been PPR, I would have said Bateman. I just think he was going to get some work today, but yeah, it's going to be Pacheco for me.
On the Pacheco side, I think I would go with Terry McLaurin. I'd go with Terry McLaurin going against Green Bay in this matchup. Taylor Heineke under center. I think Terry McLaurin will be able to likely score some touchdowns. They're going to have to lean on him.
Do you think if Heineke plays bad, we might see Sam Howell pop out there today for the Commanders?
Yeah, I could see.
I'm hoping we do.
Like the game's going poorly. Yeah.
I'm really high on him if he actually gets to play.
Yeah, I could see. It'll be interesting. I want to see the outcome of this game, this Washington versus Green Bay game, which we'll touch on here in a bit. But both of these teams are not quite what we thought they were going to be coming into the season. Moving on, Rochita is asking Josh Reynolds, George Pickens, Wan'Dale Robinson, Mecole Hardman. Pick one of these guys, Joey. Actually, I'll go first on this one since I've been throwing it to you every time. I'll go Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson is this group here. George Pickens is a close second. I'd be fine throwing George Pickens if you want over Wan'Dale. But I think they're going to have to use Wan'Dale Robinson this week. Where are you going on this one, Joey?
I got Pickens one spot ahead Wan'Dale Robinson, so I don't mind either of those plays at all. But I like what Steven Johnson said in the last hour about Pickens having like a show out game this week on prime time. So I would like to see it too. So
yeah, no, it's fair. And the producer's asking, I got a QB on bye. Best options are Mariota or Jimmy G. Thoughts? Mariota or Jimmy G? I'm going Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G. Absolutely. Mariota looked great this last week against San Francisco. But I mean, I like Jimmy G's matchup a lot better. So
yeah, Jimmy G, way to go. Got Smokey and the Cat in here saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, Smokey?" So how true is it that Pacheco has taken over Casey's backfield? Well, he was named the starter. Pacheco was named the starter. Take that for what you will, right? Like you can't always extrapolate that's going to be the case throughout the game. The game script's going to change. Their decision making and also, they're going to have to adapt. So I think they wouldn't have put that news out there if there wasn't something there, but it doesn't mean that Isaiah Pacheco is now a workhorse.
I do feel like a bit of a hypocrite because the Chiefs come out and they say Pacheco's a starter, and I was like, absolutely, the team has said it. Pacheco's time has arrived. Panthers come out and say Chuba Hubbard's our starting running back, I'm like, I don't believe it. It's like I just completely dismiss it.
Don't believe it.
So,
and we're hopping around these questions, so we don't get to yours. You can repost them, but will be hopping around to try and hit all of these questions here. We got Brendan asking, "Hey fellas, if you like Tony Pollard, or do you like Tony Pollard or Josh Reynolds for a final flex spot today?"
It's going to be Tony Pollard for me. I think he actually has a really good opportunity against Detroit today. Detroit's given up. I mean, it feels like the most fantasy points to every position, but that's not accurate. But they do give up a lot of points to running backs, the second most in the league. So I think that Zeke, while he's an incredible start today, I think Tony Pollard's a great start too.
Yeah, I'm on the Tony Pollard side as well. Detroit is giving up the second most points to fantasy running backs. Their defense, run defense, is not very good, and so I think Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are must starts this week. Chase Brooks in here asking Tua or Geno Smith, and then following that up with Jerry Jeudy or Keenan Allen, half PPR. So starting the QB side, Tua Tagovailoa or Geno Smith this week in a half PPR. Joey, PPR doesn't matter in QBs.
Geno was a little disappointing last week. I have Tua ranked higher. I am a little worried coming off an injury with the concussion, what we saw last out of Tua. Because you have Geno as an option, I might play it safe and go Geno over Tua. Even though my rankings say to play Tua.
Yeah, they are very close. Tua's playing the Steelers this week, which their defense has been giving up a lot of points to QBs. And Geno Smith going against the Chargers. Chargers do have Nick Bosa back. I think I would go Tua. I think I lean Tua here. It is close, but the matchup along with I just expect Tua to come back in this offense to be explosive. When he's healthy, this offense has looked fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my God, one of the best offenses in the league.
Yes.
I want to see him get hit one time. It's kind of like when Tony Romo with the back injury. I just want to see him get hit one time, and then I did, and I was like, I love you, Tony, but I don't ever want to play you again.
Yeah. Essie in the BSN chat asking, I have to pick two.
Okay.
Anderson, Lockett, Keenan Allen, Hunter Renfrow, or Jerry Jeudy. Who is that Anderson? Do you know? I don't know who the Anderson
I
is.
wonder if they mean Wan'Dale Robinson, if they said W. Anderson.
Yeah, maybe. Give us some clarity on Wan'Dale. Okay. Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Keenan Allen, or Hunter Renfrow, or Jerry Jeudy this week.
I'm gonna go Lockett and Jeudy, and here's why. I'm worried Hunter Renfrow might not play today. They mentioned that he's limited. There's going to be a game time decision. His status has gone back and forth so many times. Even without Darren Waller today, I'm a little worried about Hunter Renfrow. If they're just doing coach speak and he's fine and they're just playing with all of our emotions, well, then I'll eat that. But whenever I hear injury news come out, I do get a little worried when it's this back and forth on it.
So you're not too Jerry Jeudy is going against the Jets, but Brett Rippon likely starting for the Denver Broncos under center today. Is that Joey?
It does, but if there's a receiver that I will say okay with starting in that game, it would be Jerry Jeudy, because Rippon, it does show he does have a little bit of history with him, and that's all I can really lean on with him. Even though it's just one game, it's a very small sample size.
I think Jerry Jeudy for me, locking it in, and Lockett if I had to pick those two. So I'm with you, Jerry.
Smash. That's easy. Lockett.
Yeah, Lockett is definitely you're locking him in. Wan'Dale Robinson is interesting, but we saw him get like 4 targets last week. The touchdowns helped, but it was he wasn't on the field a lot. So I want to see him get worked in compared to these other guys. I wouldn't want that risk. Going against Jacksonville, whose defense has been fairly
their
decent.
pass defense is really good against receivers.
Yeah, it's just a little too much risk compared to the other guys. Keegan in here asking Najee or Ramondre Stevenson this week.
See, this is where it gets tricky. I do have them back to back. I feel like he went to my rankings and he's like, I'm going to make Joey say this live. It's going to be Ramondre for me. With Damian Harris coming back, my worry for Ramondre is small this week because I feel like they'll want to get Harris back up and running, so he might not get his normal workload. I do like Harris's matchup against Miami this week, but Najee has just been so bad recently. And I think we've got one more like solid week from Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on the Ramondre Stevenson side as well. Going against Chicago, really easy matchup. Really easy matchup. Third most points to the running back position. Najee Harris. This hurts. So Najee Harris. I've been on the Najee Harris side all season. I don't think it's they're that far off. So realistically, if you feel strongly about Najee, I'd be okay going with him. But for me, it is Ramondre Stevenson this week. We're going to keep hitting these questions, keep sending them in. We're going to try and hit up as many as we can, but we want to make sure we get through some of these matchups as well, talk about them. Joey, let's move on to the, let's see, what we got next. Indianapolis, a Tennessee game, 1 p.m. On the Indianapolis side, Shaquille Leonard is out, dealing with concussion, nose, back. What else, man? What else? That is a hit for their Indianapolis defense has been needing Shaquille Leonard. So this is definitely a hit to them. Tennessee on the Tennessee side, Kyle Phillips is out with a hamstring. Hamstring. Do not start Kyle Phillips this week. Let's see. What is the Joey? How are you feeling about this Tennessee Indianapolis game? You think Tennessee will be able to right the ship, or are the Colts going to just dominate?
So I don't know if the Colts are just going to dominate. Jonathan Taylor is going to be back today. What I'm kind of keeping an eye on is Matt Ryan. He has been abysmal outdoors this year. Indoors, Matt Ryan's been great. One of the yardage wise, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But outdoors, Matt Ryan just cannot seem to get it together. It makes sense. He played all those years in Atlanta. So this is a prime matchup for Matt Ryan if you're going to have a good passing day against Tennessee, because Tennessee's not very good against the pass. So that's what I'm kind of keeping my eye on. I do think Jonathan Taylor is going to get at least 20 touches in this game, even though it's his first game back. They're just going to roll him out there. Tennessee's passing options are kind of limited with Kyle Phillips going down because they were already, so I think Robert Woods is going to get enough work, as many passes as he really wants today. So I wouldn't mind starting Robert Woods at all as well.
Yeah. It's the guy there. The spread on this game, Tennessee is favored by 2.5 points. They're at 2.5 points in this game. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's not at all. Vegas is not expecting this to be a blowout.
If you've got $100 sitting on your bedside table, for whatever reason, $100 might be sitting on your bedside table, go take that and put it on the Indianapolis Colts today. I like them to cover that easily. If not, win right out.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a good time to remind y'all, if you have any players who are on the Vikings, Eagles, Rams, or Bills, they're all on bye this week. So make sure you take them out of your lineup. All right, Vikings, Eagles, Rams, and Bills.
This was a hurtful bye week. I mean, you're looking at the Vikings, Eagles, Rams, Bills. Those are some dynamite. You got Dalvin Cook, Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts has been incredible this year. It's a lot of great fantasy starting options. Just chilling on the beach, drinking mimosas.
Chilling on the beach, drinking mimosas. We got JM in the chat saying Fournette, Stevenson, Pierce, Taylor, or Pacheco. Start 3 PPR.
All right, roll those names out for me. Fournette for sure.
Ramondre Stevenson. Pierce, Damian Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, or Isaiah Pacheco.
So Taylor and Stevenson. Fournette, yeah. Fournette was the first one right off the bat. I was like, yep.
Yeah, Fournette, Stevenson, Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor and Stevenson.
Yep, those are the 3. Cheddarhead asking full point PPR, need to start 2. Deontay Johnson, Alec Pierce, Amari Cooper, or Damian Harris. Deontay Johnson, Alec Pierce, Amari Cooper, or Damian Harris.
I do Amari Cooper for sure. And I do
lock it in Amari.
I do like Alec Pierce this week. I mean, that Tennessee pass defense is not that great. And he's been getting work a lot in the last few, was it 2 out of the last 3 weeks? He's had really great games. So I'm actually okay with Pierce.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I would take Pierce than the risk that he's not as involved. I'd rather have Damian Harris, I think, in my lineup. Okay. Sorry, I saw another question. Thought that player was in this one. It's not. Yeah, so I would go Damian Harris and I would go Amari Cooper. The Joker asking David Montgomery, Ramondre Stevenson, Jamal Williams, or Jeff Wilson. You're picking 2 full PPR. What do you think?
Right off the top, Montgomery and Ramondre.
Montgomery and Ramondre Stevens for you. I think I would go. I think I'd go Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams, one of them. Yeah, yep. Jamal Williams and Ramondre. Sorry about that.
Jamal Williams, Ramondre Stevenson, full PPR. Oh, that is a fun week for you. This is going to be fun, I hope. Grimfan asking, drop CEH with Pacheco starting. No, I'm not dropping CEH. You got to wait and see. we don't know what the mix is going to be. CEH has been getting the primary workload in this offense for the season, most of the season, but they've been working it around evenly. Don't drop him. You got to wait and see. I would pick him up if I saw someone drop him off the waiver wire.
Absolutely.
And Greg Van also asking, how do you feel about Schultz against the Detroit Lions this week?
He's got his quarterback back.
Got old Dak back.
And the Detroit Lions are, let's see here, as far against tight ends. They give up the 9th most points to tight ends per game. So matchup says start it. If he's healthy, he's on the field, and Dak Prescott is back, I don't mind him at all. I have tight end 14 this week. So
I have him right around there as well. Tight end 14 is not fantastic.
No, it's not. But
he's been dealing with an injury, his PCL injury that has been limiting him. So I am not starting him if I don't have to, but he's in that, what we call the tight end glob over at FYF, where they're just, if they get a touchdown, then they're going to have a great week. Otherwise, probably not. Unfortunately, right now. But with Dak back, that is a plus. So we will see. Daggers in here, half PPR, tight end premium, starting 3, Joey. Brandon Ayuk, David Njoku, Alec Pierce, or Raheem Mostert. Starting 3, Brandon Ayuk, David Njoku, Alec Pierce, or Raheem Mostert.
I'm actually going to sit Alec Pierce out of that group. I like Ayuk a lot this week. It wouldn't surprise me if he was the big benefactor from today's game against the Chiefs.
Ayuk, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would go. Mostert and Ayuk. Is that's who you said? Oh, you're starting.
I thought
3.
we had to sit 1. Yeah, we're starting 3.
And so
I would sit Alec Pierce from those.
You'd sit
4.
I think I would sit Alec Pierce as well. Out of 3 of them. Nomadic K, PPR, Kenyon Drake, Deontay Foreman, or Tyler Algier. He's asking which one to start. PPR, Kenyon Drake, Deontay Foreman, or Tyler Algier. For me, it's Kenyon Drake. He's J.K. Dobbins is out. I think Kenyon Drake will likely get the majority of the workload today from the running back in Baltimore. Gus Edwards was activated off the PUP list, so they will likely get him worked in. I could see Tyler Algier being really the other competition here in this question. Joey, are you going Algier or Drake out of the 2 of them?
I've got Drake and Algier so close that, I don't know. I'll probably go Algier because his workload has been pretty solid. Through the 4 games without Patterson, he's had 38 carries for 180 yards. And there's Cable Huntley too, but he's only had 24 carries for 149 yards. So Algier is getting used a little bit more in this offense, and neither's really involved in the passing game, which is kind of surprising seeing what the role Cordell Patterson played. I'd probably go Algier here just because I trust his workload a little more because I've seen it the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, the way I see this is like Drake is the upside play. Algier is a safer play.
Okay.
He's the floor play. That's kind of how I'm breaking that down. Robin here asking Jerry Jeudy or Michael Gallup.
Ooh, that's an easy Gallup for me.
It's an easy Gallup. Yeah, Jeudy. He doesn't have Russell Wilson this week. Not like that is like that's been a great thing to do. a great so far, but Russell Wilson is out with a hamstring injury. Brett Ribbon is the starter there in the Denver offense under center. Sebastian asking ETN, Rashad Bateman, full PPR this week. For me, it's Rashad Bateman, Travis Etienne. It is pretty close. Travis Etienne, I think, will have a good week. Rashad Bateman, I think they're just going to have to rely on him. Without Dobbins there, I think Rashad Bateman is going to be the primary beneficiary of that. What do you think, Joey?
Yeah, I think this Giants defense makes the decision for me that it's going to be Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
I like Etienne a lot, especially going forward, but just maybe not this week.
Yeah. Tommy's saying, I have an IPA and a stout in my hands. Need to drop one. Please advise.
Don't drop either because that'd be alcohol abuse. Thank you. I'm here one day a week.
Alcohol abuse. That's pretty good. IPA or stout. I'm not a big beer guy. You got to drop the stout, I think. It's a little too early for a stout. It's going to sit in your stomach all day. It's going to be a brick.
A little heavy.
Stomach. Let's see. Let's keep hitting these questions here. Martin Edward, would you drop Rodgers for Trevor Lawrence or Matt Ryan? Ooh, that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't drop Rodgers for Matt Ryan. Trevor Lawrence is where it gets interesting, and I think I would. I think I would. What do you think, Joey?
I guess I'm on the complete opposite end of this. I would drop Ryan. Wait. I would rather have Rodgers than Ryan, but I would add Lawrence for Rodgers.
You would. Okay, so you're the same as me, right?
Oh, okay. Then I'm the same as you.
It goes,
look at me trying to be
it goes
combative.
Lawrence greater than Rodgers greater than Matt Ryan.
Yes, that's
okay.
That's the way it goes.
All right,
Unless Matt Ryan is playing indoors, which I think I'm going to be the indoor Matt Ryan guy this year. I think I'm just going to plant my flag on that take.
I like it.
So
I like that. I like that. Let's see. We got Christian in here asking Pacheco or Brian Robinson. Pacheco, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, or Brian Robinson, running back for the Washington Commanders. Joe, you've been the Brian Robinson guy. We talked a little bit about him earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be Pacheco this week, though, for me.
Pacheco? It's Pacheco for you? What's Brian Robinson's upside?
So Brian Robinson's got, where's he at in my rankings? I just want to take a look real quick. He's playing Green Bay. Yeah, so Green Bay's run defense has been really well this week. I mean, I think if you get 10 fantasy points out of him, he should be happy. Because I think that's probably, honestly, that might be like his floor and his ceiling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I can't really expect much more or really less out of him than that.
Just exactly that. That's what you can expect.
10 points. And if it's like 9.9 points, please come for me. Just
come for me.
You said he was going to get 10.
Malal then asking Michael Pittman or Mike Williams this week.
Ooh,
that's pretty interesting. It's a good decision to have.
That is a good decision to have. I would wonder if those are your two decisions. Congratulations. This is the position I always like to be in. I'm gonna go Pittman. I've got Pittman a wide receiver 5. Against Tennessee, they're terrible against wide receivers.
Yeah, I have Pittman in my top 10 as well. I'd throw him in there. I'd throw him in there over Mike Williams. The matchup against
your
Tennessee.
wardrobe.
I know, right? They're playing against Tennessee. Indianapolis is Tennessee, which is the easiest matchup for pretty much every position. Their defense is not very good this year, but for wide receivers specifically, they're giving up the most points. So I am going Pittman as well. Good question.
I think J-Wall could probably catch a pass against this Titan secondary.
Probably
FYF zone crop top moss.
Exactly. Let's try and speed round some of these, Joey, because we got a lot of questions coming in. We are reaching our last 30 minutes before game times begin. So we're gonna rapid fire these questions. Make sure you get all the information that you need before the 1 o'clock start for your fantasy matchups. All right, we'll keep it moving here. Joey, Mostert, Drake, or Pacheco? Which running back you start?
Pacheco.
I'm gonna go Pacheco as well. Kyle Grove asking full PPR start 2. Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson, and AJ Dillon or Jeff Wilson.
Tony Pollard and give me those names one more time.
Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, Brian Robinson, AJ Dillon, or Jeff Wilson. Tony Pollard for sure.
Tony Pollard for sure, and then
Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson.
Are you good with that? Or are you just agreeing?
I would probably rather start Brian Robinson over Jeff Wilson, actually.
Robinson.
Yeah.
That's fair. Totally fair. Andy in here asking Tyler Lockett, Alec Pierce, or Deontay Johnson. Start 1. Tyler Lockett,
absolutely.
In here asking, hi guys, full PPR. Who do you prefer between Pitts and Njoku? And at flex, Damian Pierce or Ramondre? So let's start with Pitts and Njoku. Is this like this feels so bad to say? Njoku?
Yeah, it's Njoku.
Yeah, it's Njoku, right?
Yep.
God. Why Pitts? Why? And then at flex, Damian Pierce or Ramondre Stevenson. Another interesting one. I think Ramondre Stevenson.
Are we sure there?
What do you think, Joey?
I'm going to play Damian Pierce. They're playing against the Raiders. I'll get Ramondre Stevenson. Oh man,
Ramondre Stevenson against Chicago.
I'm Damian Pierce.
All right, well, we're split on this one. I'm going Ramondre. Yeah. Joey's going Damian Pierce. So hopefully that helps you.
I am high on Damian Pierce though this week. I would start him over Kenneth Walker and Aaron Jones. So like I am admittedly high on him. But
yeah,
what we see,
I think both
Damian
guys are.
Pierce,
You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a good situation to be in.
It's a good situation. We're splitting hairs. Jack asking Brandon Ayuk or Darnell Mooney. It's Ayuk. Let's see. Blake asking Tua or Geno this week. Tua. I think we answered that one. I think Joey, we were both on
we
Tua.
had it earlier. I went Geno just for I think it's just a safer option. But
That's
Tua
right. Yeah.
has just been, when he plays and when that offense is cooking, it's exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I went on the Tua side. You were on the Geno side. Jay asking full PPR, Cortland Sutton or Brandon Cooks. Gotta go Brandon Cooks this week.
Yeah.
You think so, Joey?
I just say I trust Houston's quarterback over Denver's quarterback. That's a statement, but I do.
And I have a hard time picking Brandon Cooks in pretty much any situation. So these guys, they're pretty close this week. They both have not great situations. I'd go Brandon Cooks over Cortland Sutton. Let's see, lost my comments. Here we go. Miles asking, start Debo or T. Higgins? Yes.
Yeah, start them both.
That's my answer to that. Between
I
the two
would,
of them, Joey, which one are you going?
I would start Debo over Higgins. Higgins did have the targets last week, which was happy to see from the week before where was T. Higgins? I don't know.
I was at that game and I didn't even know.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be Debo for me. He's a top 10 wide receiver this week.
T.
Start
Higgins
him over Godwin and Amon-Ra St. Brown, actually.
And T. Higgins has Atlanta, is going up against Atlanta, which is the 27th worst defense against wide receivers. Deebo Samuel going against Kansas City, which is the 29th worst against wide receivers. These guys are pretty close. If you can, I'd find a way to try and get both of them in your lineup.
Yeah,
to be honest,
in there.
if you can.
Make room.
Just, yeah.
You know your commissioner. We should add a flex.
Add a flex for me. I'm going to go on the T. Higgins side of this.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, but it is very close.
Not betraying the jersey behind you.
Not betraying my love for T. Higgins. I'll betray Mike Williams, but not T. Higgins. Miles asking, start Stevenson or Mostert? Stevenson.
Smash.
Regier Productions. Hopefully I said that right. Probably not. Pick 2 to start. Isaiah Pacheco, Chuba Hubbard, Foreman, Damian Harris, or Kenyon Drake.
Pacheco for sure.
Yeah, Pacheco, Damian Harris.
Yep.
Mark asking, start 2 running backs, Aaron Jones, Raheem Mostert, or Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, you're playing. You got to play him. Aaron Jones. Yep. I'm with you, Joey.
Now, what you're going to, like I said this in the first hour, so I'll say it again. Like what you see out of Christian McCaffrey today is not indicative of what you're going to get the next few weeks. This is his first time in this offense. He's only been there since Friday. They have some red zone packages made up for him, according to Ian Rappaport. So, if he runs in 2 touchdowns, that's 14 fantasy points. And the San Francisco defense against Kansas City could absolutely do that. But temper your expectations. Don't drop Jeff Wilson. Don't make any huge rash moves. Let this offense play itself out over the next few weeks before you make any big decisions with the San Francisco offense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That is a good point to add there, Joey. See, we got Sutton over McLaurin from Z Killer. Oh, that is an interesting question, actually. You have a strong opinion on this one, Joey?
I don't have a strong opinion. I have like maybe can bench press 80, maybe the bar. I can bench press the bar opinion on this.
Yeah.
I would go Terry McLaurin. Without Jahan Dotson, he's going to be leaned on a little bit more. Curtis Samuel's kind of tailed off the last few weeks. So it's Terry McLaurin for me.
Terry McLaurin, man, this is pretty tough.
Do we know if Diami Brown is active today?
I believe he is.
Is he?
Or no. I believe he's not.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. He is out.
He is Diami Brown. Thank you.
Yeah. I think I would
take my rankings live since Matt said I could.
Yeah, we are. Let's see. I lost my place again, Joey. Keeps happening to me. We did answer that one. Latavius Murray start this week. Yay or nay?
I'm going to say nay because I feel like but this waiver wire is thin this week with the buys. If you absolutely have to as a desperation flex or all of your running backs are on bye, you can start him and hopefully he gives you what he gave you last week. This Denver offense, it does scare me a lot this week and going forward because they say that Wilson, it's a partially torn hamstring. So and did they send him to IR? I'm thinking of that correctly. Or is it just Russell Wilson?
Yeah. I don't know if they officially sent him to IR or not. It's a good question.
I mean, it could definitely linger if it's partially torn. So, and listen, I hope that's the reason with the play we've seen out of Russell Wilson because it would make sense. Oh, if he's got a partially torn hamstring, that's why he's not been as good. But I don't know.
Yeah, that is tough. I think it's probably a combination of him, like mental mixed with injury or dealing with something. I don't think, at least based off what I've seen, I don't think it can all be added on to the injury.
If only he could bring his acting ability to the football field, I think we'd all just be so much better off.
Yeah, we'd all be blessed for that. All right, let's keep hitting these questions. Where did I leave off? Let's see. Lamb Cup asking, start Curtis Samuel or Wan'Dale Robinson this week. So Curtis Samuel has Taylor Heineke under center. Wan'Dale Robinson, the Giants are playing who? Remind me.
The Giants
Jacksonville
are playing
Jaguars.
the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think I would go. Go ahead, Joey.
I think I'm going to go Curtis Samuel here. I do expect Green Bay to be up pretty big in this game. Sorry, Matt. So I think Curtis Samuel will get back to what we saw from before.
Yeah, I mean, he was the target share leader on that offense before getting injured. So yeah, Curtis Samuel, I think, is the play here as well. I'm with you, Joey.
Awesome.
Let's see. Lost it again. Let's keep scrolling all these comments. All right, Sutton, JT asking Cortland Sutton or Wan'Dale Robinson, is 20-mile-an-hour wind a big factor? Who's starting over these two guys, Joey?
It's going to be between Sutton and Robinson. I'm still going to go Sutton. Like I said, he's a bottom wide receiver too for me this week. I still believe in his talent, even with what was it? Mark Ripken is it his uncle? No. I know Brett Ripken, but I think Mark Ripken isn't his uncle.
Oh, okay.
If I read that correctly,
that makes sense. Yeah, I would go Cortland Sutton in this one. I would go Cortland Sutton against the Jets. I'm with you, Joey. Rashad Bateman, Tyler Boyd, or Zay Jones, PPR. Bateman,
Tyler Boyd,
and Boyd.
Yeah, Bateman and Boyd.
Bateman and Boyd. Zay Jones is a little interesting. Rest of the season, Gallup or Ayuk from Smokey the Cat. What up, Smokey?
Ooh, I like this question.
This is a good question.
Rest
of the season. Michael Gallup, wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, or Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers.
Smokey, you might have just hit on like two of my favorite trade targets if they both have good games this week. I really like both these players rest of the season. Man, I'm really thinking on this question. I'm gonna go Michael Gallup. Just based on what we know he can do with Dak Prescott. But man, I'm really torn on this. JL, what do you think?
This is a really tough question. I would go Ayuk. I think I'd go Ayuk. And the reason the tiebreaker for me is the offense, right? The CMC trade really shifts how I think about this offense, and the offense is going to be moving. So Brandon Ayuk is the clear wide receiver 2 on this team. And I think he's in a good position to capitalize and return fantasy value rest of the season. Michael Gallup, I love as well. I'm glad, I think he is, I'm bullish on Michael Gallup, but I think there's still a lot of risk, and I don't think that offense is as good.
No, I love this. This might be one of my favorite questions we've ever had on the show, because it truly stumped me where I was like, huh. And I did say that I think if there's one player CMC's arrival, I don't want to say hurts, but just limits their upside, it's Deebo Samuel, not Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Dame asking Chubb over, she said Chubb over 100 yards and a touchdown is plus 450 odds. Thought? Would you be taking that bet, Joe?
So over 100 yards, total yards or is it yards rushing?
That's a good question. Let's assume rushing yards for now.
Yeah, because Chubb, he has caught more passes recently. I like the plus 450 side of this because we've seen Chubb do that before. I think the payoff would be worth it. Yeah. So I think I would do it.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I think I would. I'd do it too. Oh,
doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. And when the odds being that high, I like that.
Yeah. No, I like it. Chubb has been great. The Baltimore defense or secondary has been better, so they might have to rely more on the run this game. The Joker in here, I missed this question. My apologies. Said David Montgomery, Ramondre Stevenson, Jamal Williams, Jeff Wilson. Pick 2, full PPR.
So Jamal Williams is one of those names.
Jamal Williams, you got to lock in. And then Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is the other name you got to lock in. Jeff Wilson and David Montgomery are okay starts. The other two guys are locked and loaded. And loaded. Let's see. All right, let me get back to my spot here. Kenyon Drake or Damian Harris, PPR.
Damian Harris for me.
Damian Harris for me as well. J Breezy said Sutton or Brian Robinson, full PPR. Brian Robinson for me.
Brian Robinson for me.
Yep. Sand said start 3, sit 1, Ramondre Stevenson, Jonathan Taylor, Damian Pierce, Kenneth Walker. Starting Jonathan Taylor. You're starting. Man, it's tough.
Really tough. I run those names down one more time because I want to go through them.
All right. Start 3, sit 1, Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
Damian Pierce, Kenneth Walker.
I'll say it. I'll set Ramondre Stevenson out of these 4.
Out of these 4, you're sitting Ramondre Stevenson.
I love the other 3. They're all top 12 running backs for me.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker, Damian Pierce. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor on his first game back.
That's tough.
There's something to say. Do you set Jonathan Taylor since it's his first game back if they ease him in? Because you've got those other 3 fantastic options.
It's possible.
In my opinion.
It's possible. It doesn't matter to me in my decision making because I'm going to start Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
No matter what, if he's playing, you got to plug him in. Because guess what? If they don't limit him or he breaks off these huge runs, you're going to be sad about it.
If you say Damian Pierce here, I'll agree with you just because I realize I'm high on him.
Yeah, I think it was between Damian Pierce and Ramondre Stevenson for me.
Okay.
I'm fine sitting either one of those guys, to be honest.
So basically just go with who you think's better looking. You should start Kenneth Walker and Jonathan Taylor. So don't tell us your decision because then it'll just hurt our feelings. But
then we'll know.
That's what you should do.
That's what you should do. We got JP in here saying, hey guys, I was wrong. I was wrong to drop Curtis Samuel for Rashad Bateman, or asking that. Sorry. Was I wrong to drop Curtis Samuel for Rashad Bateman? I can always pick up Drake London instead. Ooh. No, you are not wrong. I would much rather have Rashad Bateman than Curtis Samuel. Even though he's been injured.
I find a way to get Drake London in our team, please.
Yes, and also try and pick up Drake London.
Find a way to do that. Curtis Samuel, I'm fine leaving on your waiver wire, and if someone picks it up and he hits again this year, okay, let them deal with knowing when to start him and when not to start him.
Right.
Curtis Samuel is someone that I'll just say it one more time, then I'll never mention again. I sold really high on. A guy needed a wide receiver bad, and I traded him for Breece Hall when Breece Hall hadn't had these games yet. And once a week I text him thanks for Breece Hall.
Oh, that's brutal. So rude. Yeah. Justice Hill or Chuba Hubbard from Legend. What do you think, Joey?
I would rather play Justice Hill. I have absolutely no belief in Chuba Hubbard. Even though the Panthers have listed him as the starter, he really, really tailed off last year. I think talent's going to win out there, and Foreman is just a better running back. And I don't think it's going to take a whole game for us to see that.
Yeah. I think I would go. Yeah, I think I'd go Justice Hill. And then the follow-up question, it added Khalil Herbert in that mix. I think I go Khalil Herbert over both those guys.
Yeah. Herbert, yeah.
Joe Villa asking, should I drop Drake at 9:58 a.m. for Gus Edwards? Is blocking opponent from using Drake since he's bad at running back. Should I drop Drake at?
So I would assume Drake goes on to waivers, and then you pick up Edwards, and then so your opponent doesn't get to play him because you're not going to play Drake. That's really sneaky. This is fantasy football, and if there's no rule against it, do it.
Do it. Yeah, if that strategy is gonna help you win, then go for it. 100%.
And I might like Gus Edwards rest of the season more than I do like Kenyon Drake. So it might just be a bad move, period, for rest of the season for your team. But it's also really sneaky and devious, and that's what fantasy is all about sometimes.
That's what it's about: deception and manipulating your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Grim fan asking, start Braxton Berrios with Elijah Moore drama playing out. I think
that's
you can.
Really...
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to start Braxton Berrios, but that's very interesting to bring up because have you seen the picture of Zach Wilson and Braxton Berrios in the matching T-shirts?
No, I have not.
Yeah, they have I think it's like I'm Braxton Berrios' quarterback, and then Zach Wilson's Braxton Berrios is like Zach Wilson is my quarterback, and then Zach Wilson had a shirt that's like Braxton Berrios is my receiver or something like that. Yeah, it was very cute. They had matching shirts. And they were eating together. And there's like a whole narrative about receivers that eat with the quarterback.
Whole breakfast club, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. So I'm not starting them, but there's something there.
Yeah. Listen, Braxton Berrios is the type of player who you can play. If you need to throw someone into your lineup, You know, you can throw him in. He's a long shot play, though. So I'm not going to start him over anyone who I have a little more confidence is actually going to score a decent amount of points this week.
He might be a good, cheap DFS play. That might be like where you want to
that might be
use
an
him.
interesting one. ETN Lambert asking Kenyon Drake or Damian Harris or Melvin Gordon 3. Out of those 3, which 2 would you start? Should I start this week?
Damian Harris.
Damian Harris for sure is locked in.
Mhm.
And then Melvin Gordon or Kenyon Drake?
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon. Yeah. Jovi, we got that one, I think. Gallup or Pierce. We said Pierce, right? PPR? Maybe not. Gallup or Pierce? PPR.
Which Pierce? Alec?
Damian.
Ooh, Gallup or Damian Pierce? There's a question.
I don't know. It could be Alec Pierce. Jovi, let us know which one. Or I guess we could just do all 3.
Okay, yeah, that's great for content purposes. I'll go Pierce over Gallup and then Alec Pierce.
Damian Pierce over Gallup over Alec Pierce. I'm with
over
you.
Michael Gallup over Alec Pierce.
Yep, I'm with you. 100%. Jimmy J. Holiday asking Kirk or Keenan Allen. Also, Monty and Damian Harris on bench, full PPR. Kirk or Keenan Allen this week?
So it would be Kirk over Allen just because of that big question mark with Keenan Allen. We really don't know if he's going to play. And then who were the bench options?
David Montgomery and Damian Harris.
So it'd be Montgomery or Christian Kirk. I'll go Christian Kirk over Montgomery. Yeah.
Christian Kirk over Montgomery and Damian Harris. I think I'd start Damian Harris. No, I'd start Christian Kirk. It's definitely Christian Kirk.
My only thing with Damian Harris is just it's his first game back. And Ramondre looked so good last week. Why not ease Damian Harris in and let Ramondre have one more like top 10 fantasy running back week? Because that's how Bill Belichick thinks.
Right. All right, we are coming into our last 10 minutes before game time. So we are going to rapid fire, try and answer as many questions as we can. So keep throwing them in there. We'll try and hit as many as we can. If you haven't already, make sure that you are checking out Better Sports Network. That's where we are live. They got tons of great content coming out throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the games, you can check out Better Zone to be throughout the 1 and 4 p.m. slate. So make sure you tune in here right on Better Sports Network to watch those. Joey, Deontay Johnson or Christian Kirk, full PPR?
Christian Kirk.
Ben Terry asking ETN, Christian Kirk, or Brandon Cooks, PPR flex?
Brandon Cooks.
Christian Kirk for me.
Okay.
Caesar asking Deontay Johnson or Christian Kirk, full PPR. A lot of Christian Kirk questions. It's Kirk for me.
Kirk.
Matt asking who to sit out of Deontay Johnson, Alan Lazard, Tyler Lockett, and Raheem Mostert. Which one of those guys you sitting on the bench?
What those last 2 names again?
It was Deontay Johnson, Alan Lazard, Tyler Lockett, and Raheem Mostert.
Mostert would be my out.
Yeah.
I like Lockett and Lazard a lot this week. So fire them up.
Yeah. Sit Raheem Mostert. Chris Smith asking Alec Pierce or Drake London.
I would start Alec Pierce.
Starting Alec Pierce over Drake London. All right, that's fair. Braxton, we already hit that one. Let's see. Duvernay over Pierce or ride with it? Dame is asking, she's at Pittman and Pierce in one lineup. Should you start Duvernay over Pierce or just let it ride? Bateman's back. Just going to limit Duvernay a bit.
But isn't that when Duvernay's been outstanding? Is when Bateman's on the field?
Yes. He's only been in week 1. That's it.
Yeah.
I would go with Pierce. I would go with Pierce over Duvernay. Duvernay just hasn't been able to really turn it into fantasy production. He's got increased opportunities, but just hasn't turned it into fantasy production. Hey guys, really need help. I got Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith on a bye. Would you flex Hunter Renfrow or DJ Moore now that no one's in Carolina?
Man, I hate this decision for you. For me, I would go DJ Moore just because Hunter Renfrow, I don't know if he's going to play today. And if he does play, is he going to be 100%?
Right.
And I, even though they're not throwing the ball to DJ Moore, I know that he's healthy. So,
right. So which side are you going on?
The DJ Moore side.
You're going on the DJ Moore side? Oh man, this is tough. I guess I'll go on the DJ Moore side too. And you're right. It is the health factor.
It's the health. If Renfro is playing, I would have especially with Waller out. Oh man. Yeah. Start Hunter Renfro. But
yeah,
I don't know that. And I don't want you to wait a minute. I think he has the option of knowing if Hunter Renfro is going to start because they're both 4:00 games.
Oh, so you can wait. You can wait a little bit.
Yeah. So let me double check on the times of the games. Yeah. You have the opportunity to wait to find out between Hunter. Yeah. So if Hunter Renfrow starts and he's healthy, play him.
Yeah. Dolphin asking, should I trade CMC during all of this hype? You could. It depends what you're going to get and what you need. I think it's fine if you want to trade him during all this hype. I think they're going to work him in a ton, so I'm not like pressed to trade him. They traded for him for a reason. They're trying to make a run this year, and so I don't think you need to.
I don't think you need to. I would wonder what are you getting for him? What is somebody offering you for Christian McCaffrey?
Right.
If it was anything above, like if it's any of the big three, like Eckler, Barkley, Henry, do it. If it's Cooper Kupp, do it. But I don't think it is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. JP asks and follow. Wait, should I should get Drake London instead of Bateman? I can only have 3 wide receivers, and my other 2 options are Jalen Waddle and Justin Jefferson. I'd rather have Bateman over Drake London.
Absolutely. I think what we were saying is like play Bateman this week, absolutely, but find a way to get Drake London on your team,
on your roster.
If you got, I wouldn't go to the point like if you had the Buffalo DST, drop in the Buffalo DST to pick him up. But if you've got somebody that you've been waiting on, and it's just like DJ Moore, for instance, I would drop DJ Moore to pick up Drake London. I would make that move.
And then Jeremy asking, DJ Moore, Romeo Dobbs, Travis Etienne, PPR, pick one. Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Travis Etienne.
Abiel asking, Amari Cooper, Alan Lazard, or Mike Evans.
Ooh, that's 3 great options. It's Evans for me, but get
Evans
all
too.
3 of those
Cooper's
guys
close.
in your lineup.
Yeah. I would go Evans, Cooper, Lazard is the order I'd put those guys in. Sober Thoughts asking, who would you start? Ayuk, Algier, Kenyon Drake, or Curtis Samuel?
It's Ayuk.
It's Ayuk. Yep. Let's see. Asking, or Eli asking, start Chuba or AJ Dillon, full PPR. AJ Dillon.
Yeah. I'm gonna look real quick. Who would I start over Chuba? Who would I start Chuba over? I'm gonna look real quick. Go to the next question. I'll have that ready for the next. Okay.
All right. I will go to the next question here. Let's see. Jaguars, Cincinnati, or Giants defense? I'm going to go with Cincinnati was one of the options, right? Yeah, Jaguars, Cincinnati, or Giants defense. Cincinnati has the Atlanta Falcons, and the Atlanta Falcons offense has struggled. Cincinnati's defense has been decent.
Yeah, Cincinnati, that would be my pick as well.
You got that Chuba info?
Yeah, so I would start Chuba Hubbard over Dontre Hillard, Justice Hill, Deion Jackson, and DJ Dallas. So that's how low I am. I'm setting them for P. Ryan, Jalen Warren, Mike Boone, Gus Edwards, McKinnon. I don't believe in Hubbard. And please, if he breaks out this week, come follow me on Twitter first, and then blow me up. Just give it to me good. But you got to follow me first.
All right, before we are going to head out of here shortly here, before we do, I want to hit the actives. Dak Prescott, Jonathan Taylor, Naeem Hines, Nick Bosa, Deontay Johnson, Tua Tagovailoa, Kenny Pickett, Pat Freiermuth, Mark Andrews, and Marvin Jones are all active today. All right, they're all active. They're playing. The players who are out, inactive, J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Moore, Russell Wilson, DJ Shark, DeAndre Swift, Baker Mayfield, Christian Watson, Randall Cobb, Carson Wentz, Shaq Leonard, Kadarius Toney, Kenny Galladay, Julio Jones, Cameron, Jahan Dotson, Jamal Agnew, and that does it for us. Get those guys out of your lineup. They're out. You are listening to Pregame with FYF on the Better Sports Network. Stay tuned for some great programming coming up. We got Better Zone coming up over the next 2 slates of games. So tune in, hang out, and watch the games with us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.